was down there that I heard you. No one noticed when I fell, because some wounds make no sound. I kept smiling on the outside while losing myself within. The days lost all their color, and even breathing became hard. My weary soul seemed tired of trying to stay alive. And when I thought I was alone in the darkness, your presence appeared. In the deepest silence, at the bottom, you were there. When no one else could see, when all my strength had disappeared, your love began carrying me, carrying me. At the bottom, you were there, even when I couldn't feel you near, because sometimes divine presence arrives when everything starts to fall apart. I asked for immediate answers, but you offered me peace instead. And little by little I started learning that your presence was the greater miracle. There were no doors suddenly opening, no crowds gathered to celebrate, only a small light beginning to rise deep within my eyes. Maybe rock bottom is not the end of the road. Maybe it is the place where the soul is finally found. There, when my heart wanted to give up, when the night felt endless and I no longer knew how to go on, go on. At the bottom, you were there, even through my silence and pain, because no abyss is deep enough to keep your love away. There when I could no longer see, and it was in the darkest place of life that I began to find you. And in the silence of that abyss, your presence found me first. Presence found me first.
I spent so long trying to understand what maybe could only be felt, like holding water in my hands, trying to stop a river from flowing. And the more I searched for answers, the farther they seem to drift away. There is a silence hidden somewhere beyond all reason and every word, a place where the mind grows quiet and the heart forgets its boundaries. I thought that knowing love meant being able to explain it, but some of the deepest truths only exist when they stop speaking. And maybe the mystery of life was never meant to fit inside the narrow little frames we built to understand the infinite.
Because true love
never needs to defend itself.
it simply appears
When we stop needing to understand. The silence I can't explain is where my soul found rest. When I finally stopped chasing answers, something inside of me awoke. The silence I can't explain
seems to dissolve the fear in me.
because maybe the deepest kind of love begins where definitions end. I spent my life collecting ideas, trying to touch the infinite, but no word could ever reach the emptiness hidden in my spirit. And on an ordinary night, without signs or miracles to see, a quiet peace came breathing softly through the simple act of being. There were no final certainties, no answers left to hold, only a presence so profound it taught me how to slow down.
Maybe true love
Can never really be possessed,
is everything eternal.
is greater than what I can contain. The silence I can't explain is where love finally found me. When my tired mind stopped fighting and my heart became still.
Became still.
The silence I can't explain,
Open the space inside my soul.
because maybe the deepest truth is simply learning how to live. So long trying to understand
What could only be felt
trying to explain love.
while it was simply there.
And when I stopped searching,
For definitions,
my soul began to listen.
my soul began to listen. Silence I can't explain.
Now lives and breathes in me
Like a light moving through the darkness.
without ever needing an end.
Silence I can't explain.
Is where I learned how to remain.
Because maybe the truest kind of love
Never needs to describe itself.
the silence I can't explain.
Still lives here
Far beyond all language.
far
Beyond myself.
And when everything grew quiet,
Love remained.
without a name, without a definition,
Simply alive.
I've carried so much with me. Sometimes I forgot who I was, like someone trying to survive while the heart slowly grew tired. And through those silent nights, something inside me kept breathing. For the longest time I believed that pain was part of who I am, as if my scars were meant to define every step along the way. The shadow spoke so loudly, I almost stopped believing, but there was a quiet voice within, trying to wake me up. Even on the darkest days when everything seemed to fall apart, something deep inside my soul still wanted to keep going. Maybe suffering exists to show us what needs to change, but no pain was ever meant to keep us trapped forever. Night feels like it will never end. Won't hold me down. Pain won't hold me down, because there's something stronger in me, a light moving through the silence, reminding me there's still a road ahead. I've been lost inside my thoughts, trying to outrun loneliness, while life kept knocking softly upon the door of my heart. Every hidden tear I carried had something it was trying to say, that maybe real freedom begins the moment I stop running away. And exhausted from the battles, with no answers left to hold, I realized the present moment could still wrap its arms around me. Maybe living means learning that even pain can pass away, because there is a deeper peace waiting for the soul to slow down. Gone, and I can't figure it out. Figure it out. Pain won't hold me down, because I can still feel a living hope inside me, trying to make me whole again. So much time believing
the pain was my destiny,
but the silence slowly showed me
that I was still alive.
And when I stopped running from myself,
my soul could finally breathe.
My soul could finally breathe. Because maybe real strength means keeping a tender heart through it all.
Pain won't hold me down.
Now I finally see that freedom was always waiting in the
the simple act of being. Pain won't hold me down, hold me down, won't hold me down, hold me down, because there is still a light breathing deep inside of me. And when the silence arrived, the weight began to fall away, and for the very first time, my soul could feel peace.
I remember a photograph forgotten in an old drawer.
Smiles captured on fading paper
that time could not restore. Maps spread across the floor,
plans written in hopeful hands.
back when it seemed the whole world
could fit inside our plans.
But the seasons kept on changing
without asking to remain.
Maybe life never promised
that everything would stay.
Maybe it was only teaching us
what is worth holding anyway.
What remains when it passes,
when the shining fades away,
when the applause grows silent,
and only you and I remain.
What remains when it passes,
when time carries things apart,
maybe happiness is hidden
in the love time couldn't take.
I've seen trophies gather dust
on shelves no one noticed anymore.
I've seen promises once called forever
disappear without warning.
I've seen people chase horizons,
missing gardens at their feet,
and others gather fortunes,
yet still feel incomplete.
Some questions are answered
by the years themselves,
because some losses reveal
what can never truly disappear.
What remains when it passes,
when the shining fades away,
when the applause grows silent,
and only you and I remain.
What remains when it passes,
when time carries things apart,
maybe happiness is hidden
in the love time couldn't take.
I spent so many years searching,
so did I,
without finding what was real.
Places promising everything,
yet unable to fulfill.
it was in life's smaller moments,
A shared embrace,
a quiet smile,
that we discovered certain treasures
can only grow and shared.
What remains when it passes,
I no longer need to ask,
because what truly endures
has learned to live within my heart.
What remains when it passes is not what dazzled for a while,
It's the everything else was gone. The brilliance of things fades, like tides returning to the sea.
But what is true
Always finds a place to stay.
There's a weight inside the waiting that nobody can see. It's the pain of moving forward when nothing seems to be. The hours pass so slowly and my heart begins to tire, 'cause waiting in the silence can burn like hidden fire. I see doors still standing closed and dreams beyond my head, questions without answers I don't understand. Sometimes I look toward heaven, trying to find the reason why, but your timing feels so distant when all I do is cry. Even without understanding, I'm still standing here, trying to believe you're still near. Waiting hurts too, when my soul wants to run, but the timing of God moves for no one. Waiting hurts too, when the night feels long, but even in the silence, He still holds on. There are days when hope feels smaller than the fear inside my mind, and every anxious whisper tries to leave my peace behind. I wanted quick answers and miracles right away, but maybe some things need time to find their shape. Because while I am waiting, something changes deep inside. Even when I cannot see it, you're walking by my side. Waiting hurts too, when my soul wants to run, but the timing of God moves for no one. Waiting hurts too, when the night feels long, but even in the silence, He still holds on. Maybe heaven is still working, even when I cannot see. Maybe promises are growing quietly beneath the leaves. And if everything feels frozen and my heart wants to let go, your love keeps softly saying, just a little longer, don't lose hope. Waiting hurts too, but I won't walk away, 'cause even in your care finds a way. Waiting hurts too, but I choose to remain, because your perfect timing is never in vain. Waiting hurts too, but hope is still alive, and when the promise finally blooms, I'll understand why. So I rest a little deeper, though I cannot clearly see, because sometimes the greatest miracle is simply believing.
Tonight I didn't come looking for answers. I just needed to sit here for a while. I spent so much time trying to understand every road ahead, waiting for signs from heaven to calm the ache inside my chest. But there are nights so quiet, even fear forgets how to speak. And in the middle of that silence, something awakened inside me.
Maybe I was searching for your voice in all the wrong places, because the silence of God still teaches, even when the soul can't understand what heaven is doing. There are answers that arrive without making a sound,
like gentle hands touching softly a hidden wound in the dark. I always thought your presence would arrive like thunder or blazing light, but maybe it walks more gently in the pauses life provides.
And looking back now, I don't feel so rushed anymore, because some seeds keep growing in the silence within my soul. Maybe heaven was never far away. Maybe I was simply too loud to hear, because the silence of God still holds us, even when a weary heart feels ready to let go. There are unseen pathways that our eyes could never find, yet something keeps on leading us, even when we don't realize. Oh. Maybe spiritual maturity is learning how to remain, even when heaven grows quiet, even when nothing seems to change, and still believing love is here.
empty house inside. And when everything finally grows quiet, the soul begins to hear that even in the silence, love is still here. Love is still here. And maybe the deepest answers have always spoken softly.
I saw a man out on the corner with tired eyes and worn out shoes. Someone offered him a meal, and for a while eased his burden too.
But there was another hunger no one seemed to recognize, a longing hidden deep within, behind those weary eyes.
Because the body needs its nourishment, but the heart needs something too. More than bread, more than shelter, more than anything we can hope. Every soul is searching for a reason to be hopeful. When we offer understanding, when we choose to truly care, we become a little lantern, shining light into despair. Keep the light alive, keep the light alive. There are wounds that leave no scars, no signs for anyone to see, yet they weigh upon a person like chains that carry silently.
One kind word at the right moment, one embrace without demand, can feed a winter in a spirit and help somebody stand.
Because the greatest treasures can never be owned or stored. More than bread, more than shelter, more than anything we can hope. Every soul is searching for a reason to be hopeful. When we offer understanding, when we choose to truly care, we become a little lantern, shining light into despair. Keep the light alive, keep the light alive. The world changes slowly through simple acts of grace. Whenever someone feels seen, hope returns to its place.
We may not solve every sorrow or erase every darkened road, but we can walk beside another and help them bear the load.
More than anything we can hold. Every soul is searching for a reason to be hopeful. When we offer understanding, when we choose to truly care, we become a little lantern, shining light into despair. Keep the light alive, keep the light alive, keep the light alive.
And maybe the greatest gift is reminding someone they are not forgotten. I've spent so many years trying to be stronger than I could be, carrying old guilt upon my shoulders that I never knew how to release. There were nights when silence seemed to speak for me, and in the mirror I could hardly find the man I used to be. I wandered far from my direction, far from where my heart belonged. Yet even when I left the house, the Father never left me alone. When all my strength fell to the ground, your voice found me there. And before I could find the words, your love was already there. The Father's embrace brought me back to life again, healed the wounds this world had left, still bleeding deep within. The Father's embrace found me on a road I'd lost, when I no longer knew the way back to where I belonged. The Father's embrace quieted the fear inside, and even broken I could feel there was still a place for me. I thought all my failures had taken me too far, waiting for children to return. And in the weight of all my days, when everything became dark, it was your silent embrace that my heart recognized. I didn't have to hide my wounds or pretend that I was strong, because the Father knows the soul far beyond what anyone sees. The Father's embrace brought me back to life again, healed the wounds this world had left, still bleeding deep within. The Father's embrace found me on a road I'd lost, when I no longer knew the way back to where I once belonged. The Father's embrace quieted the fear inside, and even broken I could feel there was still a place for me. I came back weary, and the Father ran to meet you. I arrived with tears, yet He never stopped loving you. Even when I was lost, you were still His child. The Father's embrace is home in the middle of pain. It is light when everything around me fades into darkness again. The Father's embrace is grace greater than my mistakes. It is peace restoring the worth I thought I had thrown away. The Father's embrace still calls me by my name, and whenever my heart wants to run, His love remains the same. The Father's embrace is still here, waiting for me.
I knew a man who spent his days trying to keep the clouds away, saving all the sunny moments for some perfect future day.
But life never stopped to ask him what kind of road he'd choose.
It brought him laughter and heartbreak, victory
And things to lose.
and little by little he discovered what no one else could teach. Life was always bigger than anything I could explain.
It sang through celebration,
And it sang through pain.
whole story, I could finally breathe again. He crossed oceans, chasing answers, read every book he could find,
only to discover wonder in the smallest parts of life.
A child laughing in the distance, a farewell through tearful eyes, the beauty hiding in plain sight beneath an ordinary sky. And what he used to call a loss
Turned out to be
love in disguise. Life was always bigger than anything I could explain.
it sang through celebration, and it sang through pain.
There is no morning without darkness,
Oh, no harvest without rain.
when I embraced the whole story.
I could finally breathe again.
I don't need to divide anymore what is good from what is hard. Every moment carries a mystery,
Leaving its mark,
every step along the journey,
every hello, every goodbye,
different notes
within the same song, drifting across the sky.
Life was always bigger than every explanation.
It dances in the silence,
And beats in every heart.
I no longer try to separate,
What I should or shouldn't feel.
because life can fit completely
Inside a soul that learns to listen. I knew a man who spent his days trying to keep the clouds away. Then one day he opened both his hands
and let the whole world stay.
I've seen people chasing brightness, trying to purchase the dawn. I've seen promises dressed in gold that still left something undone. I've seen smiles made for photographs and applause that quickly fades. And in the middle of abundance, a deeper hunger remains. 'cause there is an ancient thirst no achievement can satisfy. There is a space within the soul, still reaching for something more. I've spent my life searching for something I couldn't explain, through countless doors and endless roads, trying to find myself again. But the happiness I long for was never far away. It lived in silence, waiting patiently within. I've seen people climb high mountains and return without knowing why. I've seen others hold everything yet still feel unsatisfied. I've watched passions burn like fire then disappear into the wind. I've seen castles built from longing fall before time could defend them. And the more I chase what seemed to promise peace, the more I learned the soul desire what never fades away. I've spent my life searching for something I couldn't explain, through countless doors and endless roads, trying to find myself again. But the happiness I long for was never far away. It lived in silence, waiting patiently within. Maybe the answer is simple, like rain falling in the yard, like wind moving through the trees without asking for reward. Maybe the love we search for never abandoned us at all. Maybe it was only waiting for our hearts to slow down. I've spent my life searching for something I couldn't explain, through countless doors and endless roads, trying to find myself again. And the happiness I longed for had been walking beside me all along. When I stopped running through the world, I finally heard its song. Gold eventually loses its shine, applause eventually fades, but the love that remains still lives here, still walks with me.
The city kept racing outside, sirens cutting through the air, 1,000 voices talking over one another everywhere.
I used to think that peace depended on the whole world settling down, until I found a deeper water far far below the noise around.
Because there's a place beneath the surface where the storm can't reach at all. Like the ocean beneath the waves,
There's a depth inside of me.
even when the waters rise.
Something deeper stays at sea.
The sounds come and go like seabirds crossing endless skies above.
But the deeper current lingers,
Steady as an ancient love. The wind still bends the pine trees, rain still dances on the shore.
thoughts still move like restless weather, just as they have before.
But behind each passing movement, there's a wider place to stand.
Like a lighthouse in the distance,
Watching sea and land. Maybe peace was never waiting for the waves to disappear. Like the ocean beneath the waves,
there's a depth inside of me.
even when the waters rise.
Something deeper stays at sea.
The sounds come and go like seabirds crossing endless skies above.
But the deeper current lingers,
Steady as an ancient love. The noise belongs to the surface,
but the deep remains unchanged,
like stars hidden beyond the clouds.
beyond the reach of rain.
And every time I remember what was never truly gone, the storm begins to loosen its hold upon my thoughts.
There's a depth inside of me.
Even when the waters rise,
Something deeper stays at sea.
the sounds come and go like seabirds crossing endless skies above.
But the deeper current lingers,
Steady as an ancient love. And in the heart of every storm, I found a sea that never left. I was fed by promises that sparkled and disappeared. I chased after many fruits that never truly satisfied.
I learned to search for answers along roads without an end, while a quiet voice kept calling from somewhere deep within.
And the farther I wandered, the farther it seemed to be. resting beneath the sea,
waiting in perfect silence for someone willing to see.
like a patient diver descending through the heart. I cross through fear and shadows, searching for revelation.
Like a traveler in the mountains, climbing his own horizon, I discovered the farthest distance was only a change in perception.
Because the treasure we pursue was never outside ourselves. Within the soul lives the truth
I search for without knowing.
the happiness I longed for was already growing inside me.
Like a hidden pearl,
Resting beneath the sea,
waiting in perfect silence for someone willing to see.
and consciousness keeps growing beyond every veil it knows.
The tree survives the storm because it trusts its roots, and the one who finds their essence finds what they were always seeking. Within the soul lives the truth I searched for without knowing.
The happiness I long for
Was already growing inside me.
the source of endless love
Was never somewhere else.
it waits in quiet stillness
Inside the awakening sound,
I search the
skies in 1,000 directions,
only to discover
the light I long for
had always been
shining within